This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code SOCRATES at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode.
Sure.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, so you were starting to talk about I forgot his name too, but
the Museum of Tarots. That's how I know his name, because I don't know his actual name. Museum of Tarot is this YouTube handle or TikTok handle.
Okay. And he was talking about how Stephen Greer's like a Mossad agent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw that clip too, and then did you watch the full clip where he's like actually homosexual and like?
Well, I wanted he's on the Danny Jones one, so I haven't. I'm trying to get to that clip, so just watching.
Oh, you're like watching through the Danny Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing about Danny Jones though that I find is interesting. No, I love him. He's better than Joe Rogan for me right now. Like him. Sean Ryan's getting kind of weird. You know what's really weird about Joe Rogan, though? If you look at his guests, they're all, like, white now. I'm like, okay. I think it's, like, saying something. Like, I think, like, nobody's booking with him that's, like, of a different...
Sure. Yeah,
like,
it probably affected
you know,
that.
Like, because, you know what I mean? Because, like, the whole Trump thing, I've noticed that, like, it literally, if you just look at, like, the last, like, 10 guests, they're all white. And the only colored person is a comedian. And I'm like, yeah, probably because he's your friend or something. I think, like, there's a... Like, just, like, with the Tesla car, there's, like, kind of like, we just don't want to be associated with you right now. You know what I mean? So Danny Jones for me is like so fascinating. I've been listening to like all of his most recent, like I've just been binging him. And
he was on, I think this guy was on 3 weeks ago. You probably did watch it then.
No. I stopped it. I was listening to it and I was like, no. So like there are certain guests, like he'll just let people go. Like he won't like say anything. He won't refute you. Like Joe Rogan, I don't like because it's like he'll just attack you, and you're like, bro, just let him say his thing. If I don't want to listen, I'll just stop listening, right? Which is what I did. So I was listening to the guy, and I was like, there's something too aggressive about that guy that I didn't like. And like the Stephen Greer stuff, it's like, sure, maybe he's a Mossad agent, but like, to what ends? Like, what would it be? You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, so I'm like a Mossad agent talking about UFOs. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing. Like, what? Okay, what are you gonna do with that? You know? So, like, okay, sure, he's a disinformation agent. Doesn't take away from the fact that like Lou Elizondo, Hal Puthoff, what's his name? There's like a ton of people, and then that documentary still hasn't come out. I'm waiting for it, man. They're like, we're trying to find a distributor. I'm like, oh my god, just let it loose to the public so we can all see. Because like Marco Rubio's on there, like all these. The thing I heard about this documentary is you don't have any weirdos. He made sure, and he was working with Steven Spielberg for Ready Player One, and he was like, I don't want to influence you guys in this documentary. It's called Disclosure Project or something. I forgot the name. And he was saying that like, I'm just gonna like let you say what you're gonna say, and I won't steer you in a specific direction, and I'm not going to pick like famous names in UFOlogy. Like he's not gonna be like, oh, okay, well this guy, but it's like, yeah, he's a long history of talking about that. It's like it's literally like senators and just like, yeah, there's something going on, guys. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? So he has like really, and Joe Rogan's side, he's like, oh, this is like very telling. Like everyone that watches it, they're like, oh, this is like very telling as to like the level of secrecy. But when I was like, oh, let's start rolling, you were like, he's attacking Graham Hancock too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I didn't get to that part because I was like, this guy's just too much, bro. Like, I hate it when they're like, you have to be so right about your thing. It's just like, okay, I'll just listen to you. And like, if I think there's something there, then I won't like then I won't stop. Like I'll keep it going. But if you're like you feel like you have an agenda, I'm just gonna stop listening. So he had Flint Dibble on. Remember the Graham Hancock versus Flint Dibble?
Yeah.
Okay, um, so when you listen to that first one, I was like, ooh, he kind of destroys Graham Hancock, right?
Hmm.
In that one with Joe Rogan, and then after that, Joe Rogan's like, oh, we fact checked him, like the internet fact checked him, and he's like, oh, he's lying about so many things, right? So then Joe Rogan's been on the smear campaign. Even Flint Divil's like, he's just like attacking my character. He's trying to like put a petition out to get Joe Rogan to like stop doing this stuff.
Hmm.
I guess he can't sue him because like where's the money for the lawyers? But like when I so Danny Jones was like, I was convinced after the Flint Divil one that Atlantis isn't real. Like our idea of Atlantis isn't real. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I gotta listen to it. So I listened to it and I'm like, I'm with you on this one. So what he was saying about that is that so Graham Hancock like, all right, no. But I think there are two different directions though. So I
Hmm.
think Graham Hancock is he's pointing to something that might be true, right? It's like, okay, there's all these same hieroglyphs, there's all the same architecture. So there is something that was traveling around the world, right? But is it Atlantean civilization? Is it Plato's Atlantean civilization? And it's not Plato's. I think Plato was using it as an allegory. So like when Flint Dibble was talking about it, he was like, everything that Plato said was a lie. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Hmm.
He was using all of his stories as
Wait, who said
remember I read the
Flint Dibble said that?
yeah.
Okay.
He's like you have to read all of Plato to
Hmm.
understand. You can't just be like, oh, there's one thing that Plato said is real, but everything else is fake. And not a lie in a sense that he's like just straight lying. He was using every story as a means to give you an ideology.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying? So it's like Plato's allegory of the cave. There was no
Yeah,
cave.
no,
It
it's an
was a
allegory.
story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Atlantis is also an allegory.
Hmm.
And then you're like, okay, how do I know that's true? Right? Because I'm like,
Hmm.
what's the smoking gun?
Yeah.
And he said, um, you don't even look at Atlantis, you just look at the description of other things we know is real. So in that story of Atlantis, he talked about Athens being there for like thousands of years. Okay. So they're like, okay, if it's been there, like, so historically, Atlantis hasn't been there for that long, like 9,000 years or whatever.
Hmm.
Right. And the way they check that is they went to the bedrock and they're like,
Hmm.
okay, we dug all the way to the bedrock. There's nothing else. And then we dig further past the bedrock. There's still nothing else. So if there was some foundation under the bedrock, we'd see it. So
Hmm.
obviously it's not there for 9,000 years. That's one thing. And then the next thing is then you start looking at his description of Atlantis. And the way he describes Atlantis, sorry, not Atlantis, description of Athens. And Athens is not how it is. Like they literally have the structures. Like I've been to Athens, so you see it, right? And like the way he's described it is not at all how it is. So you're like, okay, so it's an allegory.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, how can you refute that? They're gonna
Right.
say like, oh, Atlantis is real, but like, he didn't even look at Atlantis. He's just like, let's just look at Athens. Oh, you're not even describing it correctly. It's like almost like me being like, CN Tower's in Port Union.
Hmm.
Like, no, it's not. It's in downtown Toronto. But he used it because he needed to prove a point.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty genius. Like that's a good way to refute it. I'm like, okay, your depiction of Atlantis isn't real, but what I'm saying is like there is something to it in that every other culture is talking about an advanced civilization. It doesn't have to be Atlantis. Atlantis could just be like the name of it, or like what Plato called it. But there was definitely something beyond beyond like the past of what we all know.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I was like, yeah, okay, totally. I won't take that story literally, but like, you can't deny that he's pointing to something else that are like, okay, but this doesn't add up. Like, what? How come this? Like, because then he started to say like, oh, the pyramids were still just made off of, like a string and like they were just like sawing it with like a wire or something, and then even Dan Jones like that makes no sense. But then Flint Divil's like, I'm not an Egyptologist. I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
No,
what were you gonna say?
the Brent guy when he was talking about the Egypt thing, there was a French, I guess, scientist that um it's a whole block in the pyramid could have been like how we pour concrete and how concrete solidifies.
Okay, interesting. So what do
and
you mean?
that it could be
Or
in
you
like
think they're pouring, so they didn't actually
they
saw
made
it.
a frame and they poured
That's
it in
interesting.
and then solidified. So that's what the Brent guy was showing. So he mentioned the scientist's name. So I went to that video. It's like an old video, and they were like showing how they were mixing the material and then pouring it in, and it was how it hardened into that shape, and it looks like a granite from that time or something. Gives it that age.
But but that's not how they like they carbon date it though. They look for carbon between
Yeah, yeah,
the
no, no.
stone.
I'm saying like that. Doing that is whatever that's what the scientists were showing. That it could have been even less than 10,000 years if it was done it that
I
way.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, good point, good point. So when you're watching Dane Jones's thing now, like he has so many different people talking about different things and like
Hmm.
how um it's like I think from what I'm listening to and like you just listen to all the sources and you're like, this one makes the most sense, right? I think they had an alchemical means, like you're saying,
Yeah.
like it looks like they poured something in. So maybe they figured out a way to like melt granite down into like water, like a liquid base, and then just pour it in, almost like
Yeah.
how we do now with like
You can see the
metals.
video of that
Oh, okay,
French
cool.
scientist doing it.
He did the exact same thing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
like melted the granite and then poured it
Well,
in.
it's like this. It's a
It's not
form of
granite.
like a powder type of granite,
Okay, yeah. Okay,
and
cool.
then he mix it with this chemical, this like he was showing it, and water, and then you get that material and you pack it in as we do for now, and then after like a few hours it starts to harden, and then as 2 3 months it's much more of a like stronger material. Like it
Yeah,
looks like this full thing is
that
solid.
makes sense
Yeah.
to me because around the world they have scoop marks in granite, and they're like, okay, why does it look like they just scooped this out?
Hmm.
Like it's like a granite block, but then there's like a scoop mark. So they're like, did they have like a strong thing or like a vibrational frequency to make it like ice cream, where they could just like literally scoop this out? But what you're saying is like that actually makes sense. They just melted it down. They just like it's like us with yeah, like literally
We
concrete
do
when
it
you're
right
making
now.
the
Yeah, we
pavements.
do it
Yeah,
with
yeah,
concrete
exactly.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, like and you see like children put their hands in it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then
yeah,
you're like
yeah.
or like a dog will walk on it and then
Hmm.
forever that thing will have like
That
footprints
mark
or
on
like a
it.
hand
Yeah,
mark. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like and then it would be like us in the future being like, "Oh, they
How
must
did they
have
do
had
that?
some ability to like
Yeah.
chisel this out."
Right.
But
Right.
it's like no, but that makes a lot of sense about the chemistry of it because like that's what the Egyptians were known for. Like
Hmm.
all chemet is what they called Egypt, and that's where we get alchemy or chemist.
Hmm.
Like chemistry
Right.
is chemet, you know.
Yeah.
So like if you take that into account, like yeah, you just knew some weird science that we didn't know, and like yeah, yeah, that's like that's where I think it is now. Like I
But
don't know
I
about
didn't
like
hear about
hover
the.
blocks or
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't hear about the whole being like a concrete, and I never heard that before because they were just
Yeah,
always
like
assumed that it
pouring
was
out,
a
right? You're like,
full
what?
block. And how did they bring that
Yeah, yeah,
block
right.
there?
Everyone
But
says
I
like you
think
just cut it out.
it makes more
It
sense
does
that it
make more
could have.
sense. You just melted it down, moved it over. That's actually way more logical than like other means.
Hmm. Hmm.
Although I was listening to this, so there was the Knights Templar guy.
Hmm.
I sent you that one, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
super long, but if you listen to it, oh, dude, it's so fascinating. So what he was saying, like he's a part of the Knights Templar order, and he was saying that Hinduism, and this is when I was like, oh, that's interesting. Danny Jones, I know where your like gap lies. He has no idea about spirituality.
Mhm.
They're like, yeah, it's just like the chakras, and then he's like, what's a chakra? And then they showed him the thing. He's like, oh, I've never seen this before. And I'm like, oh, dude, you have to even like wait till you get into that stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that'll blow your mind too, right? And it's interesting because like what the order guy, the Knights Templar was saying is that the early Christianity actually is very similar to Hinduism and Egyptian lore. So if you look into, you can Google this right now. This is where I first found about it. The Egyptians had the chakras already mapped out. Like
Hmm.
they in India and in Egypt, they mapped out the chakras, but they mapped them out to glands. You can like literally Google this out. Like that's where I found this out. I was like, oh, I think the chakras are just um like the naive interpretation of what adrenal glands are, thyroid gland. Because we have like pineal gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland,
Hmm.
testosterone. and it's all where
Hmm.
the chakra centers are. So I think like the Egyptians were the Hindus were coming, or the Vedic tradition, whatever, the Hindus, they were coming at it through like, we don't really know what this is, but we know what it is energetically. There's something here, but we don't, they weren't cutting people open. It wasn't until Egypt where they were literally doing autopsies.
Hmm.
Like that's what Egypt was known for. They were like literally cutting bodies open and being like, "Oh, that's okay, that's where that is," and stuff, you know? So I think like Egypt was merging the science with like Hinduism spirituality, and like they matched up. And then it makes sense, like Jesus went to Tibet, he learned Hinduism, and then he went to Egypt. He literally lived in Egypt, like Coptic Egypt. You can see where we visited the home of Jesus when we
Hmm.
were there, and like they all know about it, right? And he was learning during the lost years. He was educating himself in these like disciplines, and then he came back, and then he was teaching what he knew.
Yeah.
And like they just thought he was a mystic, but he's like, no, guys, this is like I'm just. He was what they said was like a magician.
Yeah,
Like
which makes
he,
sense. I get it.
which
And,
makes
and
sense,
which
you know what I
makes
mean?
sense.
And but at that time, the Romans didn't like magicians. That's why he was burned at the or not burned at the stake. He was crucified
Hmm.
because like they were because then you're like a demon, you know, like.
I don't
But
know
he's
if
like,
I don't know if
no,
I
I'm
would.
not.
I'm not sure if I would say that about Romans. It could be just that disruption to society. If they really wanted to
Yeah,
control
true.
society, I feel like it's more about that than necessarily magicians.
That's fair. That's fair because he was trying to tell people like love yourself, like God is within you.
Yeah.
He and even like the Knights Templar guy, he said that they believe in reincarnation. Jesus was saying like you'll come back in the next life. He's like if you read the New Testament, it has reincarnation in it.
Hmm.
We just don't call it reincarnation.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, cool. These universal principles, they're all making sense. It wasn't until the Romans took over Catholicism when you made the Catholic Church, and that's when you started to use it for like the wrong means of like
Hmm.
controlling people and all that stuff.
Right.
But he was saying that like as a Knights Templar, which is freaking this is the weirdest thing ever. Like you're like the bodyguards of Jesus or something. You're like, oh, that's
Hmm.
weird. But like they um they 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 believe it because they know he's like a high Templar, that guy, and he's just explaining what they know, and they're like, no, it's literally just Hinduism and Egyptian, like Hinduism, Egyptian, same, and then we just came out of that. And it's like, of course you
Interesting.
did, because
Yeah.
Jesus literally came from those places, like
Yeah. No.
historically.
Yeah, like the things that I've been hearing or around these, like the debates that I listen to on TikTok, some of the words in the Bible are you can take it as like Hinduism stuff. Like it
Yeah,
just if you come up with it with an open mind, right? Like even was it like the heaven is within you or something like that,
yeah,
or
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
but literally it's like the yoga or the universe, the consciousness, that kind of thing
No,
is what he's trying to yeah,
literally.
yeah.
Yeah, literally, literally, literally. And the other thing, which I think that I was like, technically the Knights Templar would be more Muslim in nature because of this, because they don't believe that Jesus is he's the son of God because we're all the son of God, but they believe he's just a prophet. They didn't call him
Hmm.
a prophet, but he's like he. Oh, what they said was an exemplar. So the Knights Templar said that Jesus was an exemplar. But I'm like, that's technically like Muhammad, like a prophet, bro. Like you're just the highest example of what you can achieve
Hmm.
if you just go down this path, right? And then he's like, but after Jesus, there were other people that served as exemplars, and before Jesus, there were other people that served as exemplars. It's just Jesus is the one we gravitated towards,
Hmm.
and I'm like, that totally makes sense. But okay, so this
Even
is the
even
yeah.
I would say even within Islam, the term that they even use for Jesus is technically higher than even
Oh,
Muhammad.
interesting.
Yeah, because
Oh, really?
Muhammad
Eh?
they say prophet, but Messiah is given to Jesus
In
in
Muslim
Islam.
culture?
Yeah.
Huh. Messiah is like savior, right?
Hmm. I don't know the exact meaning, but yeah.
But that makes sense though. Like, yeah, you are saving people's literal souls. Like you are like I am in but not of this world.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's a Jesus saying where it's
Hmm.
like in but not of. But that's in so many other cultures where it's just like, yeah, it's a material fake world, bro. It's not real, you know? Like you're going to die one day and like it won't matter, you
Yeah.
know? But my like soul I don't know, like it's not soul, but it's like essence will live on, you
Yeah,
know?
I think the thing is terminologies. See, that's the problem, especially with definitions, and we don't like there isn't exact terms in Sanskrit to convert to English that would make
Right,
sense,
totally.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no word of God in
Mm,
Sanskrit, in my understanding. So the only term that you could use in English would be God, but God has a different meaning. As time changed, it meant like an
right.
actual physical, like something different from the universe, right,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
creator. But in that, it's more like consciousness is just you're within it, right? There's no like God per se.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, totally, totally, totally. If you look at like Jesus's teachings and stuff, have you seen the new we couldn't watch. It was too horrific. I was like, bro, this is you're going
Which
nuts.
one?
David Blaine, his
Oh,
new
oh,
series.
no, no, no.
Yeah, dude. So like it's on Disney Plus. It's made by Nat Geo and he's showing you because you know how David Blaine does these crazy tricks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So he's explaining on a podcast that like he started off as like a street magician. He loved the way that people gravitate towards it. Then he realized there's something called real magic. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what's real magic, bro? He's like, it's not a trick, it's self-control. And I'm like, what do you mean,
Mm.
bro? And that's how he was doing all of his like ice blocks. Like people thought like, oh, he's a hologram, and he's like, people just didn't realize I was just not eating for 40 days. And
Right.
you're like, but who can do that? He's like, no, it's self-control,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And like we were watching it, I'm like, why are we glorifying this weird masochist? You know, because he's literally stabbing. You know when he puts this is the craziest thing ever. You know when he has this magic trick where he puts the pin through his hand, and people are like, "Oh, it's got to be a fake pin." He was on the podcast like, "No, it's a real pin, and it hurts like hell." But what you do is you make it look like it's not hurting. I'm like, that's just crazy masochism, bro. You know, that's like,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't even
Like that's not
call.
even a trick. That's not
I
magic
was about to
anymore,
say that
bro.
I
You
wouldn't
know
even
what I mean?
think I wouldn't call that magic.
No, it's not magic. So like in this Netflix show, he goes around
Mm-hmm.
the world like learning different uh magic tricks, but like they're not magic tricks. Like people setting themselves on fire. There's this one guy who's like he's like, wow, this is a real knife. He went to Brazil's the first episode and there's these street performers and this one dude like stabbed himself in the fucking nose. Oh, I swore. Stabbed himself in the nose and like I was like, bro, what are you doing? And then like he was like, how do I learn this? And you're like, no, you
Oh,
just have
jeez.
to understand
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
cut your nose. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you saying, bro? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's not magic. You know?
Right.
But to him, that's real magic. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Yeah, it's his like his definition now, but I wouldn't call that magic. That's not
No, same.
magic.
I'm like, no, 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 that's not a trick, bro. That's like you're just hurting yourself.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? But all right, so now take it back to Jesus. Like these are all self-control techniques. Like Jesus
Mm-hmm.
learned self-control. So like when the scene like you see in the movies where he's being whipped, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or like crucified, like nails through his hands, he's just taking it. You're like, what is going on, bro? You
Yeah.
know, this is not magic, you know? But like to him, he's like, this is just the ultimate example of like self-control. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they're like he's the exemplar of like what we can achieve,
Right.
you know? But there's some things I don't want to achieve, bro. Like I don't want to be just like whipped for no reason. Like what are we doing? You know?
Sure.
I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I I,
Yeah.
I get it. I know. I understand that. It's not about being whipped and handling that. I get it as an exemplar. It makes sense.
Right. It's
It's,
like, yeah, you can control your mind, bro. Okay,
yeah.
cool. I don't need to do that to control my
Mm-hmm.
mind. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like David Blaine is like the Jesus of our time, bro. Like you
Mm-hmm.
see that, you're like, what are you doing, bro?
Right. Oh,
You
yeah. It
know?
could be. Yeah. I mean,
No,
the
like
new
really,
religion
right?
starts from him. Yeah.
No, really though, right?
Yeah.
And then because like it wasn't even written as it was happening. It was written after the fact. So it'd be like we
Yeah.
watch the documentary of David Blaine and then like we lose all the power on the earth and we're just like, dude, there was this guy that just like stabbed himself in the face with a knife. And you're like, what are you saying? It's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like he was a messiah. You're like, what? You know?
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like it's not tricks, but it's like the epitome of self-control. You
Yeah.
know what he said about the when you stab your hand with the pin?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you have to. The reason why you show it to everyone and you like demonstrate, you're like, oh, look at this, is because you need the blood to congeal so that when you pull it out, it is already kind of healed and then you don't bleed. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it must be a fake needle or a fake
Right.
nail. But
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm waiting for the body to start to heal itself so that as soon as I pull this thing out, there'll be no blood and you'll think
Right.
it's like magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, that's crazy. Like, what are you doing? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. One thing that they were saying, just kind of side tangent, but like Jesus dying on the cross was like related to snake venom because he knew that he was going to go undergo this thing, this like um, this like ordeal. So then
Mm-hmm.
the drinking of the wine was him taking this like snake venom sleep potion thing, and then he like went to sleep, and then he like died, quote unquote. And then when they gave him the wine to test if he was alive, that was actually the antidote, and that's what revived him, and that's why he came back 3 days later.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like risen by God. It was just like again a magic trick.
Sure. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh, what I wanted to say about the Knights Templar, I keep like side tangenting. It's like, so he was talking about mana and mani. So mana and mani are like the same thing. Um, and all cultures talked about it. I think that this is why gold is so coveted. If you listen to that podcast. So if you take gold and you transmute it in a certain way, like they knew how to do it, it turns into a white dust, white powder. And if you put that white powder on something, it actually takes away the weight of that thing. So
Mm-hmm.
theoretically, that could also be how they moved the stones of Egypt, because everyone would go to Egypt and they would like pay their pittance or something. Like they pay like amount of money to get this thing from the Egyptians. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it was the Egyptians because they were like giving it out because they were the alchemists. So like they would take the gold and they turn it into powder. And what he was saying is it's like what it is essentially static electricity. You know when you take a balloon and then you're like, oh, the balloon's like falling, but then you like do static electricity to it or something and it like floats a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like balloons are a great example of this thing. So what he was saying is that white powder is like static electricity on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's the reason why it floats everything. And again, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. But then if you listen to all the UAP people on how they think that these UAPs are like hovering, they think it's like through static electricity. And they have like equations for it. They just haven't built the thing. Like Sal Paez, who's this he has the patents for things that can levitate. He just hasn't built them. And he's a part of the Navy. He's like, yeah, it's like a electric magnetism thing. And then remember the guy, the Asian dude on Patrick Bet David with Terrence Howard, I like posted it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did the exact same experiment where he's like, if you like fold the magnet, it actually doesn't even magnetize. Now, if you just make this thing small enough, thousands and thousands of magnets, you can actually reverse polarization because gravity isn't a pulling force. It's a byproduct of electricity. And I was like, whoa, I never thought of it. Like, well, I mean, not many people do, but that's what they're realizing now is that gravity isn't like a universal constant. They're like, oh, gravity is like a part of everything. It's pulling, that was
Mm-hmm.
the old paradigm. What they're noticing now, because it doesn't make sense for quantum physics. They're like, how come gravity changes in quantum level? And then they're realizing through their quantum mathematics that it's like, oh, gravity is just a byproduct of electricity. So we all have like magnets, right? Like positive, negative
Yeah.
in our atoms, right? And so it looks like gravity. It looks like it looks like gravity's real, but it's like no, it's just you're magnetized to something. But you can reverse the polarization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was what they're finding out now and building experiments on. So allegedly, the gold was used to transmute into this white powder that was like super invaluable because people would use it all over the world. And that actually explains why you have so many megaliths around the world. Like, how the hell are they building these goddamn megaliths, bro? Either they are pouring it out, like what you were saying, like the Egyptians were teaching people, like, hey, we can just pour it this way. They're like, oh, that's cool. But like, what the Knights Templar dude was saying is that all ancient cultures talk about flying things, though, like Vimanas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How you get this thing to fly, right? It's like we know that there are flying things. There's like literal pictures of things flying. So like, how is it flying? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's the mana, the gold transmutation, theoretically, is what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah. That was a really fascinating tangent. Anything else about that? About the guy that like you hates Graham Hancock?
No, I don't think he. It's not like he. It's hate. It's just based on what he was saying. A lot of it's like the psyop stuff, but not that he's saying that everything. There's no
But like to what
UFOs.
ends though? Like, yeah, right, yeah. But to like what end? I just don't know like what would the ends be. Actually, no, no, no. No, I take that back because I was just watching Jacques Vallée right before this podcast started,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a new theory on something. But let me go through it sequentially before I like jump into that theory. Anything? Yeah, just keep going. Anything else about that you want to bring up?
No, no, no. I just only saw that today, so I was just looking at
Oh, okay.
what other videos that he had.
Dude, Danny Jones is great. Like you'll like when you go in that rabbit hole, you're like, oh, this guest did this. Because
Mhm,
like Exorcist, you're like, okay, like let's hear about that world, you know?
mhm, mhm,
And like they talk about like jinns and Islamic culture.
mhm,
Like every culture has some idea of demons and like exorcists. So you're like,
mhm.
okay, why are you all talking about this? You know? But I'll
Yeah.
get into that later because I have a theory about this one now that like is the only thing that's making sense to me. Yeah, demons are real, like we talked about, but it's like mental demons.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's more
Right.
extrapolated. Like yeah, but I mean, when you're like mental demons, like because people are like, okay, these could be trans-dimensional beings. But what the hell does that mean, right? It
Mhm.
means like it's not within our physical realm. Well, the thought's not in our physical realm. That's why we call it metaphysics. It's beyond physics. So it's like if these thoughts are um like existent, I'm just gonna jump into it now, you know what I mean? Unless you have like any final thing about that.
No, no, no. That's about it.
Okay,
That's all
cool.
I got into, at least for him. Yeah.
You should check out more. Like Danny Jones is so sick. Yeah.
Mhm.
Him and Julian Dory is really good too. He lives in like Jersey.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny, all these people are just like making all this money elsewhere, and then they're just like, I don't wanna like so Julian Dory and the American Alchemy, Jesse Michaels. I don't know Danny Jones' story, but Julian Dory and Jesse Michaels are both investment bankers, and they're just like, why am I slaving? I have all this money. Why am I slaving away now? So
Mhm.
like, oh, I just want to interview cool people and like learn because Joe Rogan's really popular and like you can just find people to talk to. Cool. So they're all just doing that like literally out of their own pocket until they start monetizing it, and it's
Yeah.
like that's pretty commendable. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what else are you gonna do with your time with all this
Mhm.
money? You know? And they're just like, yeah, and they're also well connected because they invest for a lot of rich people. Like with money comes influence. So you're just like, hey,
Right.
I'm an investment banker. I also have this podcast. That's literally how they do it, though. He's like, I met a bunch of my guests, like Jesse Michaels. He was investing for people, and then he's like, hey, on the side, I heard you know about UFOs. I have a podcast, like totally aside from this investment thing, but
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
you want to be? And they're like, yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Anyways, so trans-dimensional beings and demons. I really think so. Jacques Vallée said this: if you don't pay attention to the evil will just take over. And
Mhm.
I'm like, that is literally it. It's like, why is the whole world blind to everything right now? Like, literally, they're just like ignoring every single thing. Like, why aren't we talking about UFOs? I have a three, four quick questions for you. Do you believe in the do you believe we live in the universe?
Yeah.
Of course you do, right? But why? There's no utility in knowing that. We just believe we live in a universe because all the scientists said it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
No, but there's no utility. Like I'm not going to travel the universe. I just know it's a fact,
Yeah. I know
right?
it's a fact. Yeah.
You know it is a fact, but we don't know it as like a truth. We know it as a factoid.
Sure. Okay.
See the difference? It's like, oh, this is a factoid. Like it's like, zebras are black and white,
Mhm.
and flamingos are pink, but they're actually not pink. Fun fact.
No.
It
Yeah.
depends on their diet.
Yes.
So it's like we know factoids, but we don't know truths.
Mhm.
This really hit me. I was listening to Patience by Damian Marley and Nas.
Mhm.
And one of the things is that one of the lyrics is the average man speaks about things he doesn't know about. And I'm like, ooh, that's true. We talk about the universe all the time. It's like, I don't know it's real. I don't know it's real. I know it's a factoid, though. Just like people back then were like, the world is flat. Now
Mhm.
it's round, you know? And then if you change shape again, that's another lyric from the song. But if it changed shape again, we're all going to laugh at you. But it's like, but it changed already, you know, flat to
Yeah.
round. You know, factoids. Okay, cool. Do you believe in Catholicism?
No.
No, I knew you were going to say no. So there is no utility in knowing about the universe. There's no utility. But there is utility in Catholicism because it eases the mind. But you
Mhm.
don't believe it.
No.
So it's like, okay. but there's utility there, and yet you still don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question. Do you believe in the pyramids? Do you believe that they are real?
Yes.
Why? You've never seen them physically. You've
No.
seen pictures of them. I've told you
Sure.
stories,
Yeah.
right? Another factoid.
Mm-hmm.
But there is utility in that there's economic utility,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Catholicism is not real to you, but Egypt's real to you.
Mm-hmm.
But why? You haven't seen either. And now, so it's like, okay, we're talking about belief, universe. There's no utility, but I believe it to be real. Okay, cool. Catholicism, there's some psychological utility,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you don't believe that's real. Catholicism, the Egyptian pyramids, you've never seen them, but you know that tourism happens, so there's economic utility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's either utility or non-utility, but you're basing your belief off of like a judgment call, right?
Okay.
Like off of what most people are saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, cool. Even though like a billion people believe in Catholicism,
Mm-hmm.
do you believe in UAPs?
As the definition, yeah.
You believe in UAPs. Do you believe in non-human intelligence?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's aliens out there.
Piloting the UAPs?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so do you believe non-human intelligence is utilizing UAPs?
I don't know.
You gun to your head, you have to say yes or no.
No, how can I
You
say
didn't say
that?
you didn't, but the universe. You said for sure you knew,
That we live
but
in
there
a
was no.
universe? Yes.
Yeah, but you for sure you knew. But how can you say you knew?
Because
See
of
the difference there?
the evidence of we're being
But
in a
there's
universe.
evidence. But there's also evidence that
Mm-hmm.
scientists are saying that NHI are utilizing UAP. You just proved my point. That
Okay.
little that moment where you're like, no, I don't know, and I'm like, but how can you not know? You believe in the universe,
Mm-hmm.
but scientists told you that. You believe
Yes.
the Earth's round because scientists told you that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where do you draw? Where do we draw the line based off of what we believe and what we don't believe?
By consensus.
And that is the sheep mind. Exactly what I was. Yeah, I was like, okay, if we go down this path, I know exactly what you're gonna say. But that's not healthy though. But like, not no offense to you, but like, it's just not healthy though. Because like, how do you make any? How do you not be controlled
Mm-hmm.
if you're living by consensus? If you're living by consensus, you're literally just living by what people are telling you is real,
Right.
right?
Sure.
So, right, and and this goes into the whole like demon thing now.
Mm.
So Jacques Vallée was saying, if you don't pay attention to the devil will just take over.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pay attention to evil, evil will just take over. So if everyone, and I consider you a very good skeptic, like you will look into it, you'll really think about it, but like even you were exercising the exact same thing that I was like, that's the thing that's
Sure.
making the whole world the way it is though. It's like we won't look at like recession. We won't look at like housing costs. Nobody cares about it. Bro, this is the thing that's affecting our lives. Right? And what he's saying is like, if you don't pay attention to the devil will take over. Nobody's paying attention to these raising prices. Nobody's trying to change it. The devil will just take over. Nobody's paying attention to like health. That's weird. The devil will just take over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a literal devil, but like we live in like a horrible way of living simply because we aren't paying attention to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just waiting for like other people to tell us what we should pay attention to. But then how do you know that those people that are paying attention to it have your best interest? You don't
Right.
know.
Right.
Only you know what your best interest is.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that that's where we are in life now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm like, I feel like this battle between good and evil, and like, I've been saying it for a while. Like, what the hell is this feeling of like something's going to change? You know? And I think that that's what it is. We're coming to like a boiling point of just like demons are just taking over the whole earth.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like a real, it's like you're just entrapped. Like, why is everything so expensive? Why is the most beautiful thing, like we all love we're all like, oh, you should, like babies, but you don't make it easy for them. Like, what are you saying?
Hmm.
Right? Like, if Elon Musk was like, oh, you gotta, like, we all have to have babies to be trapped financially, I'm confused.
Hmm.
If you made it
Right.
like conducive, we would do those things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, why is it so hard for me? Simple thing. I'm like, Tara's like, oh, you should check your cholesterol level. So I go to the thing and like, I'm like, hey, can I just check my cholesterol level at the blood test place? And they're like, no, we won't run that. And we only do that 3 to 5 years because yours was in a very healthy range. I'm like, very healthy for you. There's like livable ranges and there's optimal ranges. Tara's like, we just don't want you to get to like that point where it's like, oop, you need a medication now. Right.
Hmm.
But it's like, you won't let me check that unless I go to ND and I get them to write it for me. Why you make it so hard, bro?
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, why do you want me to be sick? You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm like, we're living in a weird time, bro. Like a weird, you know?
Hmm.
So what do you think now? Like, with all that being said, like, because I know you're like last podcast, you were like, oh, it's not that bad. But I'm like, well, looking at it like this, you see my point, right? Where it's like, dude, we're kind of crazy as a species.
Oh yeah, humans were crazy. We always, I mean, look at the difference of societies that we've gone through. This is just one of them now that we're in.
Yeah, right. And I
Right.
think that utopias are a threat to power structures.
Sure.
Like a utopia literally is just like everyone's happy. Like we just
Hmm.
focus on the best thing for the best people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, healthcare, like, hey, our food system's really bad. You're putting a lot of chemicals in it. Let's stop. Let's focus on this. Let's make everyone healthy. That's utopia, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, housing's impossible right now. Let's just work together. Let's figure out how to make this affordable. No, we can't. That's a utopia, right? Like,
Hmm.
why is a utopia so threatening in society?
Hmm.
No, but like, why?
I don't know. I think that this. I think we are trying to go in that direction.
Mm-mm. We're not. No, we're not. We're not because most people don't even know about self care. You haven't educated people to understand what self care is.
Hmm.
People think that self care is like, I'm just going to eat this tub of ice cream with some self care. And like, no, no, that's like you're giving into a demon of
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a comfort demon, you know?
Hmm.
But like, that's why it says like Jesus, you know? It's like, it starts with you
Hmm.
because you have to make the change. You have to educate yourself on like the proper things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the internet's just made it even more accessible. Just ask ChatGPT, bro. And be like, hey, how do I make myself healthier?
Hmm.
Oh, I should probably do this. You know, it's like, all right, follow those things. You know? It's like we have the tools. We have the tools for utopia, but there's something that's keeping us from that utopia. And I think I know what it is.
What is it?
A breakaway civilization.
Hmm.
And they've talked about it and people have been freaking out about it. That lady who like so Sal Paez was like this is so crazy. So like he's like breakaway civilization. Everyone and he looked into the camera. He's like, we love our lives. We would never kill ourselves. Why do you say that? Because you might be suicided, right?
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
to name what Sal Paez was saying is he's like, we all know about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and stuff like that. Like, oh, they're so rich, whatever. He's like, the ones that are the scariest are the ones you don't even know about, but they own everything. And to even utter their name means certain death because you're encroaching on their ability to keep power. And I was like, that is freaky. And that's when he looked at the camera. He's like, we all love our lives. We would never commit suicide. I love
Oh, right.
living. And I was like, that's really weird that you said that. Right. And then independent of him, you have that lady who was on Danny Jones too. She was also on Tucker Carlson. That's where I first heard of her. She was talking about a breakaway civilization, the Bank of International Settlements. So the central bank of central banks. So like we all pay our money to the central bank. But then there is another bank that's higher than the central bank called the Bank of International Settlements, and it was created after World War One in order to settle the debts between different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So we all pay into that, and from they're independent from the law. They're like self-governing, right? They have their own money and their own military. Independent of her, you have Stephen Greer being like, there is an entity out there that's like funded by black market, black ops budgets. You have like EG&G, Lockheed Martin, Boeing. They all have these UAP programs that are being funded by something. And then I'm like, click, it's the Bank of International Settlements. That's the only thing. If it all comes back to money, what's the one thing that has infinite money and not infinite money? What the lady was saying is that they were moving, which is a crazy conspiracy. They lost like so much trillions of dollars, and then 9/11 happened, and then we all focused on that. And then it was a way to get like black budget money back onto the budget because they're like, oh, we need war money. So like, okay, cool. Like, let's just we lost all because like why does the US keep its losing its like balances or something? Like it fails its audits
Mm-hmm.
every single year. It fails. But like if I fail my audit, it's like, oh, you're going to jail, you know?
Yeah.
But it fails its audits. And she was saying like that's the way they're moving the money. And she said that US won't go down, not because oh, US is on the decline, whatever. No, it's just the main hub of where they're hiding all the black money.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds crazy. But she was literally working for Bush as as his finance person. And she was like, "What the
Which
hell's going on?"
Bush? Which Bush?
I don't know. Bush. She just said Bush, so I don't know the first one or second one. She's old. She's old.
Mm-hmm.
It was during the housing crisis. It must have been Bush two.
I think it was Bush one.
Bush one. Oh, okay, cool. Well, she was talking about like the house. Yeah, okay, maybe it was Bush one because she was talking about like they knew about this in 1994. So when 1994 happened, there's something that happened in Asia, and then that's when they realized like, oh, you can't rely like Asia crashed or something, and they're like, oh, you can't rely on like putting all your money on one thing, so you have to like diversify your investment or something. And then she was saying that they knew the financial crisis, the 2008 was going to happen, but they let it happen because they were able to siphon off money for a space program. And you're like, dude, this sounds crazy. And then it's like, but now why are we going into space? Like she called this before our space pursuits, you know? And like her, Stephen Greer, and now Sal Paez, all three, Richard Dolan too, he's the one who coined the term breakaway civilization. So you have four intellectual people independently talking about a breakaway civilization. And what is a breakaway civilization? It's just something that's outside of our civilization.
Mm-hmm.
They've found a way to make money and have their own army. Because if you have money and army, you're a civilization. You know, you're like a country.
Right.
Sounds crazy, but it sounds crazy, but these are sober people, bro. So I'm like, there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? Have you heard of the Collins Elite? Did you get any? Okay. So with the UAP program, what they found out is that there's this thing called the Collins Elite, and they believe that if we dig too deep into this UAP thing, it's gonna be the second coming of Christ. Totally hokey. Like Lou Elizondo's like, it's a weird cult in the government. Like in the government, there's a bunch of people in the government that believe this, and like that's what's halting this disclosure. They believe that if we disclose, then the second coming of Christ will happen, Armageddon will happen, the end of the world will happen. And I'm like, end of the world or end of your power?
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, going back to it. The because you were like, oh, utopias, why are they so bad? Why is it so bad to have everyone happy? It's only bad because you have a power structure that's profiting off of it. You have a breakaway civilization that's like literally running the whole world in why we do things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, but like crazy, not crazy, like, oh, that's fake. Crazy, like, that's weird and that's kind of making sense. Or do you think it's fake?
I don't know about being fake. There could be some truths to it, but I don't know if it's real.
Okay. Who's funding? All right, so they know. So this literally will happen. Jacques Vallée will talk, like, everyone talks about it. If they capture UAP on film, somebody like a Men in Black type person will show up at the facility.
Hmm.
Like if they're like let's say they're on a warship and then they catch a video of it, they'll show up, take all the footage, and leave, and you have to sign like an NDA. Who's doing
Hmm.
that? But who's doing that?
Would
And
be
the
the
president and,
right.
and the president doesn't know about it.
Hmm.
So who's doing that? Except for a breakaway civilization, something has enough money and power and influence to do that.
Right.
They're like buying people off, I guess. I don't know, like, but like who, like where's that chain of command? Like what is that?
Hmm.
Senators don't even know. That's why we're having the hearings. Like literally, we're having the hearings. Like when they went in front of Congress and like Lou Wells on, because they're like, who the hell is this? Who's taking all the footage? Because the senators like, well, that's our money. Like the senators are supposed to keep the peace or like manage stuff, but like, so who has your NDA?
Hmm.
And they don't know. So like, it sounds crazy, but you're like, so you answer that question, Vish. Is there some sect of the government that's higher than senators, but you're not supposed to have that?
Well, top secret stuff. I think that makes sense.
So beyond, okay, so you're saying top secret. I agree with you. Yeah, sure, it's top secret. But then who's overseeing the top secret stuff? Is it the president?
But he'll only be the president then. Yeah.
But the president hasn't been read in. They're like literally like we haven't been read in. That's why certain presidents are trying to look into it. Like they're Obama is famous for it because they talk about him trying to look into it. And there was another one who was looking into it too, but like they just weren't read in on the program. So it's like, because it gives them plausible deniability. Because if they get read in on the program, then they're like, well, like, now you know, and now
Hmm.
you're like, we don't know what you're gonna do when you like leave office. You're gonna like write a book about it. You know what I mean? So that's why they're like they have in the government agencies they have like DOD officials that have been there for like 20 years, and they're like, oh, a president is just a revolving door. We don't need to read them in on this because they will leave, and we don't know what they'll do with that information.
Right.
But isn't the president supposed to be the highest order?
Yeah.
So that's a breakaway civilization. So you're
Hmm.
like, okay, you got like, what are you guys doing, bro?
Yeah.
You're above the law. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it sounds crazy, but it's like, but it's happening, right?
Or is it? Or they do know what it is?
The president?
Yeah.
No, I can't remember what it was, but like, because they asked them about it, and they're just like, oh, this is also Stephen Greer's back pocket thing, because he was saying that they're like, oh, if you do this, I'll sue you, right? Like, Stephen Greer, like, they're like, if you continue on this path, I'll sue you. And then Stephen Greer's rebuttal is, please sue me so that I will subpoena presidents, I'll subpoena these heads of state, and they'll have to say under oath what they know. That's why he's never been sued.
Hmm.
So it's like, but in order to get away from that, they just don't read them in the president. So it's like if you subpoena like the president or something, you ask the president under oath. It's like I have no idea about this. It's like yeah, we can continue our work without like risk of them divulging things. Although Barack Obama has alluded to it.
Hmm.
He made a joke about it. He was like, oh, like you can see it on Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, yeah, we've been reading some things, and they all laughed. He's like, haha, you think I'm kidding? And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Exactly. So he has been read into it.
Yeah, to parts of it,
Hmm.
but not the full thing, is what they're saying.
Right.
And
But he
or
didn't
or
say
le-
anything what it is even after he left.
they- right, because maybe they just like NDA'd him, or maybe he doesn't know fully. You know, I think it was.
Or he's just doing because it is top secret. Why would you just reveal that?
Yeah, that's true too. Then it's like, okay, so as a president, you're not going to give us the so this is the thing that everyone's talking about. It's like you're classifying nature, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't classify nature. This is the thing that Lou Elizondo and like that's what they're fighting for. They're like, you can keep all your programs. Like, no, you shouldn't tell us how the atom bomb exists. But nuclear physics is out there. So we can like they won't show you the physics to make an atom bomb, but they'll tell you that nuclear physics is real.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what they're saying with this UAP stuff is just tell us it's real. It's
Right.
like you don't need to tell us that you're like reverse engineering this thing and you have this weapon, whatever, whatever. Yeah, keep that secret. But tell us that we're not alone in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But my argument is you technically have been telling us, just nobody wants to listen. Like you have Immaculate Constellation written into Congress being like, we have these ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, and piloted by NHI. You're like, okay, so it's there it is.
Mm-hmm.
But people refuse to believe it still. So you're like, you you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sure, of course.
It's like, hey man, that's gonna kill you. If you keep smoking
Yeah, I was
cigarettes
about to
and
bring that
drinking
one up.
alcohol,
Yeah, I was about to bring that
see what
up.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
People
yeah,
still
yeah.
do it.
Yep.
So it's like, but it's because we're not in a conducive society where we're just like like it's the thing we don't know about self love, like
Mm-hmm.
not in like a I love myself, like literally just like doing the best that you can do.
Yeah.
Because if you did that, then you maybe you wouldn't smoke the cigarettes, maybe you wouldn't like you know
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and yeah, this is gonna sound weird, but like I feel like that is the ultimate pursuit, and that is personally what I'm pursuing through like my life of video game. It's like do I look tired to you?
Sure. I don't know.
No, like do I
No.
look like when all right, so we played this game. We're like driving downtown and we were trying to call parents, right? We're like,
Okay.
parent, not a parent, not a parent, parent, not a parent,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're like, do you know what the giveaway is?
What, tiredness?
Literally, just like like extreme exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but there's a lot of people that, not knocking children, like, yeah, if you have the resources and you want to do that, sure, make your choices. But like, our society's not conducive to procreation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's literally set up in a way that's just gonna like lock you in. They look tired, bro, and like almost like defeated. Like there's some that are like happy. Like I'm like, oh, but that person's happy. It's like give it till they're like a little bit older, and it's like, yeah, you're right, because like then you got to deal with like a school system where you're just like, oh, I don't know why this kid's learning this thing. They come home like, hey, dad, I
Mm-hmm.
don't. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the weird changes that they're making. Like this is wrong. Like for example, I love inclusivity. Love inclusivity. But like I'll admit, like, Taoism, there's some weird parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was just saying, like, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna teach these folks. And then Tara laughed at me. She's like, folks, ew. And I was like, yeah, it's just, it's the inclusive thing to say. And then she's like, no, I still say guys when she's teaching, like, hey guys. And I'm like, ooh, we don't like that. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, how, like, what? Just like, you know what I mean? Just like colloquially. No, it's not right. Now, now I'm like, I'm doing this out of like respect. I'm like, okay, this is what we do. You know what I mean? But like, imagine being a parent and like, you're wrong. You're like, why am I wrong? Because of this. You're like, oh God, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're dealing with that now,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a real thing, Or like, very simple one. I'm gonna get so much hate for this one. The support Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to this, they were the enemy. Now we support them because they're against Russia. And now we're like, we want Russia to be our allies. Okay, which is it, bro? Like, we support them against Russia, or are we gonna like Like, is Russia the enemy? I don't know. But like, it seems like Trump really wants us to work with Russia. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like we go through these phases of mass indoctrination, and it's just like, why are we doing this? But like self love is like that. Why are we doing this kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, do I really believe in this? Do I look into this enough? Like with the sport you came, like, hey man, you guys do it. You do your thing. I'm over here. Like I have no stake in this game, right?
Right.
But like, it's weird if you have no stake in the game. And you're like, would you guys look into it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
But yeah, I mean, I don't want. That's how reality is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Or is that how mass indoctrination is? Do you remember when we were talking about like why am I so anti-Catholic? Because all of you guys didn't have to go to church,
Mm-hmm.
and I was forced to go to church. And I'm like, why am I going here? Nobody else doing. And you said, well, if we all went, you just think it was normal, and
Mm-hmm.
we'd all go. You wouldn't question it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But questioning is what gives you. Questioning is like the key
Mm-hmm.
to unlocking the door
Yeah.
of being trapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like just literally just why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do this? Did somebody tell you that you should do this? What narrative are you following? Is this the narrative you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And it's like these little things of like self love are going to make you a better person of like which will in turn spread onto other things
Mm-hmm.
and will change the world that way. Self love being just like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I hate needle. I hate needles,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like after I was like, all right, cool. I'm good for another year and a half before Tara forces me to get a blood test again. And then she like read the thing. She's like, it seems like you have hypothyroidism. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, the whole thing says I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you nitpicking on this thing? And she's like, clinically, I would probably treat you at this point, and like I'm not sure if you have an autoimmune disease or if your adrenal glands are overactive. Because like it's affecting something is like your thyroid's being weird. And there's two reasons why. Either your body's attacking itself or your adrenals are too much. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's adrenals. Like, look how much I do. You know what I mean? Like I'm always just go, 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 go. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. But like and so she's like, here's some supplements. We're gonna test with the adrenals, and then the next time you get a blood test, we're going to test your antibodies for your thyroid, see if you have an autoimmune disease.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mind you, my whole sheet said I'm perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hate needles, and I thought I had a year and a half before I do this again. Tara's like, you want to go next month? I'm like, hell no.
Right.
Hell no. So she's like, okay, we'll give it some time for the supplement to work, and then you could test it again.
Mm-hmm.
How's December? Okay, I'll do December. I hate needles, but I'm doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm healthy, but I'm doing the thing that's like, okay, this really sucks, but I gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
So this will stop. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's self love, right? And that's why I'm like, my whole spiel now is like, my life video, like we're playing a video game, so it's like self love is the highest state. So like, let's just try and see where this leads. Like I like teaching martial arts. So I'm gonna do that, even though I'm nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sucks to get wrecked by a bunch of dudes at jujitsu, but I feel a calling to this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this guy I haven't posted yet, but he's like, don't find your life's meaning. You're gonna fail instantly. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, that's interesting. He said, find your passions and then just do those little passionate things, and that passion will lead you to your meaning. I was like, that's true. Because you
Yeah.
don't know what you like. Like, how are you going to just be like, I'm going to change the world this way? And you're like, well, what's the path to getting there? Do you even want to change the world? Is that what you really want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just want to do this one thing? And then that one thing will lead to the next thing. to the
Right.
next thing, next. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
feel like it's so simple, bro. Just do the right thing. Like, you know.
Hmm.
Although I was like, if if I do ever get cancer, because that's just the one that's just like that sounds terrible. I was like euthanize right away. Like that's I don't want like so many like that's crazy to me, bro. Like I've seen people go through that. I'm like, no, that's not fun. You
Hmm.
know, even my parents are like, dude, that's not fun. Like because they're nurses, right? Mom and
Yeah.
sister, and they see it and they're just like, that's not fun.
Hmm.
You know, but okay. So going back to it, it's like this pursuit of like self love. It's like, what if we all just did that? What kind of world will we have?
Hmm.
A more understanding, happy, passionate world. And that's how you would change against like this craziness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, McDonald's is unhealthy for you. So we all start buying like organic food. Then McDonald's goes out of business because there's no money
Hmm.
naturally.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then like the organic food, you like vote with your dollars. So it's
Yeah.
like, what are you spending your money on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get it. If you have no money, it's like, of course they're gonna buy like the dollar thing, you know,
Hmm.
like the dollar menu. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. I've been ranting for a really long time.
Well, that's capitalism. The paying with our dollar, or
Right, but it's
choices
like
with our dollar. Yeah.
right. The game hasn't changed. Don't hate the no. Don't hate don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, don't hate the game, hate the player because the player's choosing.
Yeah. They have
These
the
are the
freedom.
rules, bro.
Yeah.
These are the rules.
Hmm.
But like we haven't been educated in this manner, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I would say some of these things have to be self-taught. Yeah.
No, no. Totally no. No. I see what you're saying. It's like maybe you need to pass down this thing. No. You need proper guides. So
Hmm.
like in the past, you couldn't just be like, I'm gonna be a warrior. Okay, how you gonna do it? I'm
Hmm.
gonna go hunt. You know, you needed a guide. You needed a warrior to show you how to be a warrior,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like one thing I've noticed is like I get a lot of thank yous from my classes. And it's not and they're genuine like I could feel like I hate the attention. Yesterday I think they're definitely trying to mess with me. Paulo was like as Irvil, I just could hear it and I walked in. He's like, as Irvil walks in, bow at him. And I was like, so I walked in and they were all like back. I'm like, oh, what are we doing? Okay, so we're just gonna focus on this first move. Like I hate that like
Hmm. Hmm.
it's just like, no, I'm just gonna show you something cool, guys, like that I've seen, right? And I put myself through fire a lot, right? I'm going to TriStar, going to Planet, and go here. And like there's a lot of stuff that just like doesn't work, right? And then when I'm teaching it, I'm like, I'm not showing you a move that I think you're gonna like because you're gonna think I'm cool. I'm like, you all need to learn how to do this one thing, and that's what we're gonna focus on, even though it's so basic. And at the end, they're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Because it's like I taught you a principle. I taught you something you could apply to everything,
Hmm.
you know. And
Yeah.
it's like I'm not trying to wow you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
And it's like that's a guide.
Hmm.
Like I've been to so many martial artists that will literally teach you things that I also saw on YouTube. Not naming any names, but I know people who I saw the exact same not YouTube, Instagram video. We both liked it. I went to class that night and you started teaching that thing.
Right.
And I was like, and they're like, everyone, I'm gonna show you something new. And I'm like, I liked the exact same post you did, bro.
Yeah.
But you're trying to. It's a business. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm literally not making any money teaching, like literally.
Hmm.
I just do it out of pure passion. I'm like, hey, you guys want something cool? They're like, yeah, sure. I'm like, all right, cool. So like, me showing you is genuine care. Like I'm like, I went through a lot of suck to show you this one simple thing,
Hmm.
you know. And we can layer on to make it much more difficult, but like we need to get you at the base level. And then one other instructor was like, "Oh, I loved that one class where you just taught the pushing." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You taught like a basic thing that nobody teaches unless you do like real traditional martial arts." I'm like, "Yeah, because this is like I care, bro." He's like, "Yeah, everyone keeps just showing these like crazy combos, and it's like, but they're not getting any better. They're trying to do the combo,
Hmm.
you know, because they're trying to sell the next thing." So like when you said it's like personal pursuit, No, because I mean, like, sure you can do it, but it's like, why hit your head against the wall? We all had teachers. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of people, like, there's people I could point to that I learned not to sell crap to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Carlos Newton, the best jujitsu I've ever felt. I felt a lot of people's jujitsu, but Carlos was like reading my mind, and he's like, and I called him. Remember, I was like, ah,
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be this other belt. He's like, yeah, buddy, just be the best you can be. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? And it's like, but that's a real lesson, you know? He's like, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a guide. So like, and another one's like Tara doing her like mom and daughter program. Like, she's literally building like connections with those parents and daughters, and
Mm-hmm.
they all love it. And I'm like, yeah, because you're giving them a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
They literally, she does a free thing in Burlington every month, and people just, you don't need to pay. And she'll do like I told her it's like her karmic class, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like, no, I just enjoy doing it, right? But it's like, but you don't understand the memories you're creating.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, me and my daughter did this, and then like, and she'll always say to the parents too, she's like, I'm not replacing you, I'm creating the connection for you guys to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. It's like, I'm not the center of attention, bro. You know, just like teaching, I'm not the center of attention. I'm just gonna show you this cool thing. Take with it what you will, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be real,
Yeah.
you know? So like I think we need to go back to those guides,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it's like you just gotta find real guides out there that you are like, I genuinely believe in this thing. And then like take their example and like discard what is not useful, keep what is. It's like Bruce Lee's Tao of Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
But you have to try a bunch of things, you know, like yeah. I guess that is technically self-learning though, because they're going from like guide to guide, you know. But like, we need authenticity again. We glorify a lot of people that are just like, for us a hobby, TriStar. There's one, I was wearing my TriStar shirt at 10th Planet, and this one guy was like, "Oh, did you train there?" I was like, "Yeah, I went for like a week." And he's like, "Oh, cool, cool, cool. Did you get to see Faraz?" I'm like, "Yeah, he taught every class." And the guy's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was surprised too." And he's like, yeah, usually like when they get famous, other people teach their classes
Mm-hmm.
and then they're just making money off the name. And I was like, yeah, no, he taught every single class unless he had like something, they had like a media engagement, right? And
Right.
and then Frost was like in a different podcast, he's like, he doesn't have contracts with fighters and he doesn't ask them to pay him unless they make over a certain amount because he knew with GSP when they were coming up, GSP is like the goat, right? And like he knew that GSP wasn't making any money. So like
Mm-hmm.
when they were coming up, GSP made $3,000 for to show 3,000 if you win. So that's
Right.
6,000 years of like 6 months of training. That's $1,000 per month you made technically,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to pay like trainers, nutrition, all that stuff. So what Frost realizes is like, I need to make money elsewhere so I can keep this my passion.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real person right there. And I'm like, okay, authentic. We need to get back to like, you know,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but like we stifle. Like, why is this not glorified?
Uh, being authentic.
Like doing the right thing, just like you know what I mean. Just like
Yeah.
if like Frost could easily, he's so famous. People go to him, right? When I heard like, and he has no contract. It's a handshake deal. He's like, you pay me what you want to pay me. And he's like, 99% of the time, people pay me really well. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, cool, you know? And he's like, if you want to keep working with me, yeah, just compensate me. But also, if you have no money, I understand that too. I'm just going to be at the gym. What he
Mm-hmm.
said was he doesn't even take people. I remember I like emailed him like, hey, does Frost do private classes? Like, I'm sorry, he doesn't do private classes. And I was listening to the podcast, and he was saying like he's just always at the gym, and if he sees you there, he'll just invest time into you because he
Right.
loves what we all love. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the hell? This guy like a legend? Like, is he real?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like that's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like like Paulo, the famous dude that's like near you. The reason why I'm like, dude, this guy's authentic too. He's like famous in the fight world,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But it's $20 a drop in class. He's just like, 20 bucks. I'm like, that's like nothing, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
drop-ins are like very expensive, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like, but he's like, yeah, I like genuinely love this stuff. But like I feel like there should be exchange, and that's true too because it's like equal exchange. I believe in energetic equal exchanges. So he's
Mm-hmm.
just like $20. I'm like, cool. It's like nothing, you know? But like we need more of these real people, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
all
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's all fabricated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it just grosses me out when you find out how fake it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you say something now. Go.
No, no, I totally agree with you. I think there's something to do with authenticity that it gravitates people to that kind of energy. Like when you do give that out, there's something real
But
about it.
but we don't glorify it. Like why don't we do that? It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we're like talking about Justin Bieber and like what? Oh, me and Tara tried watching that TMZ because they hyped it up like the downfall of Justin Bieber. Like, oh, I want to see this. I want to see this. And it's literally so Justin Bieber is upset at news people making money off of him looking bad in photos. Like that's a lot of his outbursts. He's like, I'm a human being. Why are you trying to make blah blah blah? You just want money. You just want money. And then the whole TMZ thing is them talking about Justin Bieber. And me and Tara were like,
Is it? I was
do
about
they
to say,
understand
isn't that what TMZ is though? Like that's why I didn't
exactly?
really watch TMZ because
Right?
it
Yeah.
is like that thing on whatever the ones in the when you go to the cashier
Paparazzis.
not yeah, they're paparazzi that they get the pictures from the paparazzis, but it's
Yeah.
like that whole those types of magazines and those in
A
the
tabloid.
cashier tabloid, that's the word. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a tabloid
Yeah.
piece. Yeah.
Right. And me and Tara were like, did they realize how ironic this is? That they are showing clips of Justin Bieber like, you just want money off of my pain. But you guys are putting out this YouTube documentary
I think
about
they
his
do know that.
pain.
I think they do know that.
You know what the crazier part is? Justin Bieber wasn't in it. It was them at a round table talking about his demise. I was like, oh, cool. They're going to show some stuff. And they're like, we just talked with Justin Bieber's camp and they said he's not doing drugs. And then they're like, yeah, but it's obvious he is doing drugs. Look at his face. And we're like, wait, they're just making everything up.
But this is not new for TMZ. TMZ had their own TV for a long time.
No,
Uh,
yeah, totally, totally.
right? And this is what tabloid thing is. Who'd you talk to? Who's saying that? You're just saying these things to
Right, right.
create the
And they're like, his
clips.
camp says the camp says he's fine. His whole Justin Bieber's camp says he's happier than ever. You know, and you're like, but you guys are saying he's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys just making money off of hyping this thing up? And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, Justin Bieber's been doing mushrooms and bong hits. And then like they show a picture of him doing a bong. I'm like, do you guys know about Seth Rogen? What? We
Yeah.
guys, like, oh, he's a druggie. And I'm like, what? Like I feel like Justin Bieber's just a human being who's in a crazy situation.
Mm-hmm.
And like I would be crazy too. Like you would look crazy. He's just being real. He's not playing the game. He's like, get away from me, Papa. You just want pictures of me. You want money. That's all you guys want is money, money, money. And then you have TMZ like at a round table being like, he broke down psychologically. It's like, no, you're literally antagonizing him.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
And like,
it's the both. They're pulling at each other, right? They want him to do. They're doing things to get a reaction, because then they
yes,
can talk about that reaction and make money off of that. That's all what it is.
right, totally. So you and I, we're both like, this is crazy. But why is it popular? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like, what a sick society are we? Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we glorifying sickness
Mm-hmm.
for like entertainment or like
Yeah.
it's like junk food for the
Yeah.
mind? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like it just tastes really good. You're
Yeah.
like, it does totally, but like, I want to see my own blood work. You know what I mean? Like, am
Mm-hmm.
I messing myself up here? You know what I mean? Like at the core, because you can't hide from your blood work. So you're just like, am I messing myself up here? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that's how society feels to me. I really think that Jacques Vallée thing, where it's like, if you don't pay attention to the demon will take over.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pay attention to the devil automatically wins. If you don't pay attention to the evil automatically wins. And I think society doesn't look. I think that all mass media outlets Like the internet really crippled that because it gave us options. But like back then, you could have a breakaway civilization managing the narrative because we had very few outlets. We had like CNN, CTV, you know what I mean? But now you're just
Sure.
like, I'm just gonna check out like Cenk Uyghur's thing or like News Nation,
Mm-hmm.
like look at all the sources and like see what makes sense to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's the new age. I think like when they talk about the age of Aquarius and like the dawning of a new age and like the destruction of the old world, Armageddon,
Mm-hmm.
we're on the precipice of Armageddon. Like I think it's like we're just gonna evolve into a new society. Like I don't think it's like we're just gonna break. I think it's like our old world has so many bandages that it's like they're it's bursting at the seams,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Do you know anything about this recession that's coming up?
Yeah, yeah, I hear about it.
Okay, what have you heard? Because this morning Tara just brought it up, and I was like, "That's weird. You've never talked about this before." We were just talking about something I can't remember, and she's like, "And then the impending recession." I'm like, "What do you know about impending recession, bro?" I'm like, what?
Well,
I haven't been paying attention.
they've been saying it since last year, right? But it could be due to all the tariff stuff that
Okay,
actually is gonna. Because it could have been without the tariff stuff, we could have had a soft landing. That there wasn't a recession, but like recession is a term. What they mean is when there's two quarterlies that are negative in growth. That would be that would be calling that as a recession. So
interesting.
now
Interesting.
so it depends. Maybe the tariffs are the ones that cause it now. So
Interesting. Okay, cool. And that's what everyone's freaking out about.
hmm
So we all don't think this is weird. Nobody thinks it's weird. We're just gonna go about our days. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, that's pretty unhealthy for you. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. You're like not paying attention to evil. Um, okay.
I think they're paying attention to that.
No, I don't think. No, what I mean is like, right. You're paying attention to it, but you're not doing anything about it. You're not like, hey, maybe we should kind of change our choices.
I think that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Human? Like people?
Yeah, the governments. Yeah, that
No, no,
can't.
not no. And we cannot rely on government. You okay? I have this new perspective of you can't
Okay.
rely on government because that's like watching. That's like asking your parents for help. But you're like, I should kind of do this myself. You know what I mean? Like, you
hmm
guys are gonna like think of it like a divorcing family, right? You're just like, you guys are having a divorce, but I don't want that negativity to spill on me,
hmm
right? So like the recession is crazy. So what I can do is manage my choices.
hmm
Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should save. Maybe I should buy this thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that is happening, but it's like I can't rely on daddy government to help me in this. It's like maybe
Oh
you
no, no.
shouldn't.
If you're just doing that, then yeah, that's wrong. Yeah. Then
Right.
you're
Well, I'm
yeah.
saying everyone's doing that though. They're like, we are paying attention to it. What are you doing about it? I'm just waiting for them. Like, well, you're not doing anything about it.
Exactly.
Doing things that change your life experience. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Right? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
It's
what I'm saying.
like,
They're telling you about the recession to possibly come. It's up to the citizens to decide how you want to act.
right, totally.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the foundation of self love, though, it's like, how do you react?
hmm
Right? Like, self love equals also self reliance. Like, if
hmm
I can rely on myself, then I can be like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
But if you're always panicking, you're like, do I have this? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think that we've lost that ability. I think as a whole, society's lost that ability to like rely on oneself
hmm
and like believe in oneself and like self love and like all these things. You know, it's like that's what's making us sick.
hmm
We all have demons, but everyone forgot that they're also a demon slayer,
hmm Yeah.
right? Like we all got demons, bro. Yeah, it's hard for sure. Do the right thing, man. That's how you slay a demon.
Yeah.
You're like, and that's why it hurts. You got to go to battle, right? You're like,
hmm
It might not be like if you watch Demon Slayer, it's not like we're not actually gonna have like clashing of katanas, but it will feel like that when you do the right thing.
Hmm.
Me getting a blood test is like me fighting a demon. Like I had an adrenaline dump after that. I was like, "Woo, that was great." Most people are like, "I don't care about a blood test," right? But like, your demon is different from my demon, bro. Maybe your demon is like, "I don't want to go jujitsu." You're like, "Yeah, I have that demon too." I'm like, "I don't want to go," but I'm like, "All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
I gotta go."
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a
Yeah,
different,
yeah.
but it's like self love. Um, okay, I know we've like, I didn't even think we were gonna talk about all this, but what time we at? Because I really do want to talk about one thing.
Yeah, 1 hour 24 in.
Okay, cool. All right, this should be enough time. Elon Musk leaving the White House. Fill me in, bro. So that's black eye thing. I was like, did you just get beat up by people and you're saying it's your child? Seems a little weird.
Right. I didn't see that video, but I saw something about that black eye thing. But I don't know anything about it. That's fine.
Him leaving. So apparently, do you see the thing where he's taking like ecstasy and like Adderall and
Yeah,
like
I didn't get a chance to watch that video you sent, but yeah, that's what I saw, something
yeah.
like that.
Oh, him in the White House.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the video I sent. Oh, dude, he was going off. They're like, oh, the Washington Post from the Washington Post guy. He's like, we heard you're doing all these drugs, blah blah. And he's like, oh, the Washington Post that also got sued. And you're like, okay, way to divert that question.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're right, they did get sued, but like, are you doing drugs?
Mhm.
And if you're one, if you're doing drugs, that's pretty weird. Not weird. Everyone does drugs, bro. But like, there's like a stress there that you're just not managing, you know? And two, it's like why are you in the oval like why are you in the highest level and you're like you see that video where he's tweaking? Those other
Oh
videos
yeah,
where
yeah,
he's like
yeah, 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 yeah.
he's
Yeah.
tweaking, bro. And you're like and you're in the Oval Office yelling at reporters,
Mhm.
being like, "Oh, aren't you the one that got sued?" You're like, "That's not very presidential." You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's like more pointing to the sickness of society. You're like, this is breaking, bro. This is breaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel it too, right? You're like, what's happening in America?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that's why the whole that's what I said in the beginning, the whole uh well, this is it's like Trump getting, like, you know how Trump names or makes fun of everybody, crooked Hillary, like uses those things to
Yeah, yeah.
me, but he doesn't like it when they do it to him. So that was calling him his taco trade,
Oh, what's that?
using Trump always chickens out.
What? Oh, fill me in. What? I don't know.
That we're gonna pause, or the trades, right? He's
Yeah.
saying he's gonna do 100%, and then the whole thing with China, then drop it down. So that's the whole. He did this to Europe, and then we made a deal, and then he dropped down the tariff. So it's like Trump always chickens out.
Oh, interesting. And they call it taco trade?
Yeah, that was what this week was happening. Wall Street calling it that because he would say he's doing these things and he doesn't do it because of some deal. Well, he's claiming deals and then reduce the trade, whatever percentage it was at. So it's like Trump always chickens out. That was the term.
Oh, that's really interesting.
And like the play on thing with that is taco, and then Mexicans, like that whole illegal immigrants, things like that. So it's like a
Oh,
play on.
interesting. Oh, that's really interesting. See, breaking, man. It's
Hmm.
just all breaking. That's a weird. That's a weird. That's a weird thing. Um. Okay. Super last thing. Because I saw this like actually professionally too, and I was like, oh, I didn't think that this was real. So, ChatGPT is becoming the new search engine over Google.
Hmm.
You been seeing that?
Yeah,
Or
that's
you
the
heard that?
Google's. Yeah, this is Google's fear since ChatGPT became so big. This is their actual first time ever having a real competition.
Okay. Okay. So, right. So, like, what some metrics were a little wonky, and I was like, "That's weird." Because like Tara was like, "Oh, nobody's using Google anymore; they're using ChatGPT." And I'm like, "Okay." I kept that in the back of my mind. And then some metrics that we were looking at looked a little weird from like a Google perspective, like Google Ads. And we are
Hmm.
like, "Why are they so low?" And then we started Googling Googling the Google problem. And then we found out that like all these marketers were saying like it's the death of Google SEO, like blah blah. Like everyone spends so much time like optimizing their Google, but nobody's using Google anymore. They're using ChatGPT, and it's just gonna keep progressing in this manner. And I
Hmm.
was like, is Google dead? Like it could, aside from like it's like Google VO3 with the crazy visuals,
Yeah.
but like, is
I saw
Google
that. Yeah,
dead?
it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's really like actually the guy that was I was watching a video how to make the
Do you have a
Google,
VO3
yeah,
or which have a Google?
Google
Oh, okay.
VO3, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in order to get the good prompts or like trying to get to write down a good prompt for it to do a video or whatever, he went to ChatGPT to help it write a prompt,
No.
and then he put that prompt into the Google VO to get it the
Oh,
video.
that's so funny. Yeah. Well, one, Google VO3 is amazing. You're going to destroy so many jobs. But also, it's like, is that the new leveraging thing? Like, is that how Google's going to make money?
Well, they're both competing
Technically, they
because
have YouTube.
sorry, they
They have
have YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
No, I think that they're a big enough company they may be fine, but they're working on their own. This is the competition between all the AI stuff. So that's where we're in right now.
but also, like, even outside of like Google search engine, you still have like Google Docs, like the Google Workdesk. A lot of
Yeah.
companies use that. So it's like, I don't think you're dead, but
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
you
No,
know,
no, no.
it
But
is
again, it's like for they were paying Apple like so much billions of dollars
to be
to
the
have
main
the
search engine.
yeah. So I don't. So now if ChatGPT is making enough money, and if they can also put forward that money first, like
Yeah.
who's paying more depends on that too. That could
True.
I could shift it.
Well, ChatGPT is integrated with Google, Apple Intelligence, though, so it is already connected.
It's sort of yeah, it's connected in that way, in that sense, but like directly, like when you open up Safari, it
Yeah,
automatically
yeah,
goes to
totally.
Google, though, right? That's
Yeah,
because they paid for it.
that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's a weird. I was like listening to music, and Google ChatGPT is amazing for suggestions.
Hmm.
Like I mean, Terry used it for recipes and all, like all that stuff. Like I haven't delved into that, but like just as a matter of like understanding what I like and providing me like I'm watching a new anime that it suggested. I'm like, this is an amazing anime. It's like
Hmm.
we thought you'd like this. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. Like, but like I was thinking like as I was listening to a song, how crazy it would be in the future if like I had VR glasses or like some better AirPod thing, and I'm just like, hey, ChatGPT, like, play me more songs like this one, and it's like
Hmm.
coming up, and it just like plays you. You know what I mean? Like it's providing you like a way more tailored experience to like. Oh, actually, this is interesting. The found if you because everyone's like freaking out about like ChatGPT, like, oh, ChatGPT will just like you can psyop people with like these prompts, and then they give you all this information, whatever, whatever, right? But like it always goes back to the person. Like we were talking about self love, self understanding. Because if I know that some things are unhealthy for me, I will make the right decision to only see the best things for me. Like, for example, algorithm feeds, right?
Hmm.
Everyone's like, oh my God, algorithm feeds are so bad, right? And like, if you look at my feed, it is just like motivational stuff, anime stuff, pet stuff. But people are like, my algorithm's sick, and I just see like people fighting all day. I'm like, oh my God, what? Why are you putting that
Yeah,
out there? You know what I mean? And
yeah.
then like Tara, because she gives like these lectures on social media, she's like, you have to understand how algorithms work because like it'll just like feed you the same kind of thing, and it's just like it goes back to the person.
Yeah.
It's like the tool's not bad, bro, but how are you using the tool?
Hmm.
And if you don't like if I'm like constantly fighting battles like as a demon slayer, right? Like I fight my own demons. I'm like, and my feed is providing me motivation and inspiration to fight those demons. It's helping me. It's not hindering me.
Right.
But like a lot of people are like, watch out, like algorithms are gonna take over. I'm like, in a good way? Like what? They're gonna make me do more push-ups. Like
Hmm.
what?
Hmm.
But like I don't know what you're looking at because it's a tailored feed,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So it's like again, it goes back to the person. We have a sick society because we individually haven't figured out self-love.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like real self-love,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not like, and then like that's how demons can take over, like mental demons. You have like you can't build a house on sand.
Hmm.
Yeah. Final question to you. Is there a way to fix it?
Is there a way to fix it?
Yeah, like revert it back.
Well, hopefully that's what the internet can do.
But we talked about the prompt. It's like I
Yeah.
still need to prompt the internet.
Hmm.
The internet's just a tool.
Yeah.
Like if you're
It's
giving,
yeah. It's about coming by this information to be able to then realize that you can start changing. If you don't even know
let
that
me
this is
give
a question exists, right?
let me give you an analogy because we talk about it all the time. It's like therapy is good
Hmm.
if you're looking to change,
Yeah.
right? But as a therapist, they can only personally, is why I don't like therapy because I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know the situation. You don't know cultural understanding, right? You're giving me a perspective on what I tell you. If
Hmm.
I tell you everything sucks, you're going to think everything sucks in my life. But maybe my life actually doesn't suck. It's just my perspective on it.
Hmm.
But you don't know that because you're only having a 1 hour conversation with me. See what I'm saying? So like the therapist
Sure.
is like the internet.
Yeah.
It's like those solutions that you're talking
Hmm.
about.
Hmm.
It's like, but if I'm prompting you wrong,
Well, I think that's the thing. If you're saying algorithm, then it's what you're thinking at this time, right? The kind of searches that you're making. This is what your mindset's already. The algorithm is just showing you what you're thinking,
right? So, but how
what
do you
your
fix the
mindset's in.
problem? Right, but how do you fix the problem then?
Well, then it's not necessarily the internet, right? It's just how do you?
It's like saying, how do you fix you?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's crazy. You're like, how do I fix this problem? I don't
Hmm.
know. How do you fix you?
Yeah.
I I'm gonna propose something to you. You let me know if this is right. Because
Hmm.
I've been like wrestling with this. Like, what? How do you fix this problem? Discipline. Jocko Willink said this. He's like, discipline equals freedom. And you're like, what the hell? Discipline? We do martial arts? Like, no, what? No, it's doing the right thing despite how you feel.
Hmm.
Because you know what the right thing is, but you're not gonna do it because you feel bad about that thing,
Hmm.
even though it's the right thing to do. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. Could be your that's your consciousness showing up to tell you what the right thing is.
Well, we all know though the right thing. Like if you were like a third person, if I'm like, hey Vish, man, I got diabetes. What do you think I should do? What would you
Mm.
tell me?
Stop eating sweets.
The
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We all know what the right thing is, right? Like, dude, I got crazy high blood pressure, and like I think it's these caffeine drinks. What do you think I should do?
Well, if it's the caffeine drinks, then stop drinking the caffeine.
Okay. Hey Vish, I think I tore my shoulder, but I'm afraid that I might need surgery. But I should book an appointment to go to the physiotherapist to see if it's actually torn. Should I go?
Well, that's up to you. Do you want to heal or not?
But what's the right thing to do?
Well, the right thing to do is uh, to go and get it checked.
But I'm so afraid.
Again, that's yeah. You got to do it. If you don't want to do it, then it's up to you.
Hold on, wait. What did you say? Did you say like if you don't want to do it?
No, no. If you want to do it, right? Or
No,
if you
but
don't want
no, I don't
do
think
you?
no, right. No, but I'm saying discipline. Discipline is doing the right thing no matter how you feel.
Yeah, then you gotta do the right thing, which
And
is
that's what I
yeah,
going to the thing.
yeah.
And I think that that is what the solution is. Literally just discipline, bro.
Hmm.
I gave you a bunch of examples that I've literally just went through. And I'm like, and you just told me what to do. I'm like, okay.
Hmm.
But we all know what to do, you know? Like I got my first blood test back and it was like 5.5 means you're in like danger zone. You're still fine. You're just entering danger zone. Tara saw that. She's like, oh, you need to stop eating sugar. I'm like, well, I do eat a lot of sweets. So I cut back.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. It went down. Perfect. Oh, I literally thought I tore my shoulder. And Tara's like, you should probably go see a physiotherapist. I'm like, but you're a doctor. You can fix it. I don't want to go. I'm so like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, just go. They know better than me. So the person checked me out. And she's like, oh, no, your like muscles just like, it's like too tight. And then she like did this whole scraping procedure and like fixed it. Shoulder's good now. I was like, oh, thank you.
Hmm.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like, you know what you should do.
Yeah.
You're just not doing it. Discipline. Hey, I really need a lot of money. And I see that you left $1,000 on the nightstand. I really need that $1,000. You think I should take it? It's your money though.
No.
We all know what to do, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like it's doing the right thing despite how you feel. I
Hmm.
need that out. That's your thousand. I'm not gonna steal your $1,000. That's crazy, right? We
Yeah.
just don't like, we just don't listen to ourselves, bro.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what they meant when they're like, "There's more wisdom in you than you think," because it's like you literally just can ask yourself that question, like, "What should I
Yeah.
do? Oh, I should probably do that."
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's all. Rant done. That was a long one. Final thoughts.
Uh, do the right thing.
Do the right thing. You're right. Till next week, spend another week doing the right thing, and hopefully the world will become a better place if we all just did the right thing.
Yeah.
All right. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.